Eco Reps is basically a program on campus where a group of students who aim to generate and maintain a culture of sustainability through peer-to-peer outreach and education. So what that basically means is that we'll do things like trash audits, which just means tearing open a bag of trash that comes from the LLC or some other dorm building on the student center lawn, and sort that out into terms of what could have been recycled and what had to be landfilled. So that's a good visual demonstration of contamination in our waste stream. But we also do things like the ban the bottle petition we're having right now. Uh, the name is a bit misleading. We're not trying to ban plastic water bottles from campus. However, we are trying to stop the sale of them. If I had to talk to everyone, if I had to tell one thing to everybody, it would be think about where your food comes from. Think about where the stuff that you have is made. Think about how it got there. Like the shirts you have on, all the cotton it took to make them, all the water it took to grow the cotton. And that's just one example. Every product we have is like that. Like there's always, I feel like right now, the separation from product and product being made to consumer is massive. Nobody's aware of how the products they use are being made and what they're using to make them. I think pretty soon renewable energy is going to get to the point where it's just cost effective to use, where companies would just be stupid to be using fossil fuels. And so when we get there, it'll be looking up. But after the fossil fuel climate change fight is over, there's always the next thing to tackle. Just be aware. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Just be aware. I'd like to see people think about it more, think about their actions a little bit more, which is not I'm not trying to be preachy or anything, but it's just even I a year or two ago I wasn't thinking about what me driving to the grocery store would impact, and the truth is me driving to the grocery store probably doesn't contribute to climate change, but 10,000 people driving to the grocery store definitely contributes to climate change. So I don't know. Everybody thinks about themselves on an individual level, but it really benefits the world to think about things on a community level and how you're affecting it in that way.
The goals that we've kind of set forth with the new sustainability piece, I feel are really ambitious, but with the timeline that we've been kind of given, I feel like most of the goals that we're going towards, we could definitely hit, but a big part of meeting those goals are there needs to be big changes, not only on campus, but off campus and everywhere else in town, and obviously the state and the rest of the country. We just need to be more conservative with the way that we do things, the way that we use our resources and energy. Obviously, we've been using a ton of resources to do everything that we need to do on a daily basis. So it just really comes down to every individual and every individual action. We all need to think of sustainability together, and that's really how we can move forward. So a big part of sustainability obviously comes down to the individual. We need to reduce the waste that we produce, the waste that we use. We need to reduce the water that we use. A lot of people, small things, small actions, like even brushing your teeth, just use the water when you put it under the toothbrush and don't leave the water on. You got to be conscious of the energy that you're using, daily easy things like, turning off the lights, recycling your trash, proper waste disposal. So I think a really big part of why this whole sustainability movement has kind of come up and really expanded is kind of just because the effects of climate change we're really being able to see more and more every year. We've been seeing record-breaking weather every year. The seasons have been shifting. I think these goals are definitely practical the way that they've been set forth. Zero carbon emission with how they want to reduce by 2050. That's definitely ambitious, but it's absolutely necessary, because if we don't take charge now, then things are only going to get worse, and the multiplications of how bad climate is getting is just going to get worse and worse. It's going to get warmer and warmer each year. I think one of the biggest pieces, like I had already mentioned, is sustainability as a whole population really comes down to the individual and individuals working together, because you kind of need to have a standard set in the way that we use our trash, we dispose of our waste, even the ways in which we take goods in, but there's just so many places where all these things are just being used and they don't need to be, they're not necessary.